All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Beatin' the Bookie show. Today is Wednesday, October the 18th. Man, another great week of college football. I've said that 5 episodes in a row, but it keeps holding true. We got all kinds of big upsets, big talking point games, and it's set to be that way again this week. So what are your thoughts on this past week? How you doing, first off?
I'm doing great. We absolutely destroyed last week. As people know, I've been putting my parlays on, the client cards, and we hit 3 weeks ago we hit one for 45,000. 2 weeks ago we hit one for 17,000, and last weekend we hit a college football parlay. It was like 750 to win. It was 1,400 to win 25,000. So seven teams, I believe, and what's crazy is for 4 of the legs I used money lines, and they were plays that I had client plays where I used the spread. So if we would have used the spreads in the parlay, it would have paid 130,000. So and I actually had a client who bet $700 on that, and he won 65,000 on the spread. He put half on the spread, half on the money line for the parlay. So
insane.
Did pretty well, and I went 9-3, I think, on Saturday. So it's been a pretty good. Saturday was amazing. Went 8-1 NHL, 9-3 college football. So really couldn't have gotten any better in football season. I mean, it's been pretty solid so far. We've really avoided like any disasters, and that's really all you want to. As long as you can avoid like a serious disaster in college and NFL one weekend on the same weekend, you're doing pretty well. You're going to have losing weekends, but as long as you have those huge weekends sprinkled in, you'll do just fine. So,
I mean, you're coming off 3 huge weekends in a row, in 3 of the craziest weeks of college football too. Usually college football, once it gets crazy like this and like it has been, all these upsets and these, highly ranked matchups and whatnot, it's hard to cap those. And 3 weeks in a row, incredible performance. A little soft clap for you.
It's all right. We can always do better. There's always stuff that.
Well, we're saving that for this week.
Always stuff I look at and I'm like, you know what, I shouldn't have done that, or I shouldn't have bet this player prop in the NFL. The guy got injured, and then it blows up your entire touchdown score parlay. But there's always stuff you can do to improve. So hopefully this week we win every single bit.
Hey, that's the plan. That's the plan, at least. Let's hop into the board for this week. Start off college football. Number 17 Tennessee heading down to Tuscaloosa. Number 11 Alabama. The Tide are 9.5-point favorites. Total set at 49. This is 2 teams that we have no idea what performance we're going to get on the field any given Saturday from both of these teams. I'm very curious to see how this game plays out. What do you think?
Listen, Tennessee, I mean, they lost a lot from last year to right now, right? And different quarterback. Joe Milton. Tennessee fans, 1 week they want him gone. 1 week he's winning the Heisman. Jalen Hyatt's gone. It's not going to be in Knoxville, and the referees, will they be give the Vols the game like last season, which a lot of people thought, throwing a pass interference flag from like 60 yards away last year. And I think this game has been on Nick Saban's mind for the last year. Probably cost the Tide a chance at the playoffs last year, and I'm looking forward to Alabama just let Milroe throw the ball and run the ball. Like, let him do his thing, right? Don't hold the guy back, right? So,
and they've been holding him back significantly. They're just very conservative on the play calling for the past 3-4 weeks for him.
They have. So maybe they're getting ready for a late season run. I don't know, but I'd like to see Alabama open up the playbook. I think if they don't, I think if Tommy Rees doesn't open it up, I think he's going to be out of a job next year at Alabama. Or he'll be washing cars as a assistant that's been demoted. So,
and down there at Julio Jones Kia or something.
Yeah, I think this is the week where Alabama tries to open it up. And honestly, like Tennessee's been struggling to score. They haven't looked good. They looked good. The best they looked was against Virginia to start the year, right? And Virginia, ever since then,
everybody's looked good against Virginia.
Yeah, total dog crap. And Tennessee, they just have not been playing very well. Getting destroyed by Florida, struggling with Texas A&M last week, struggling with Arkansas,
struggling with Austin Peay. Minimal opponents. They just don't have it going all together up there in Knoxville right now.
They don't. And I think this line says to me they're begging people to take Tennessee. a lot of people will just look and be like, well, you know what? Tennessee beat them last year, and Alabama doesn't seem too good this year, right? So they might take Tennessee, but I think this is a game Alabama's been waiting to play for a while, and I think Alabama, I think if they want, they could win this game by at least 2 touchdowns.
I think so too, man. I mean, this is a game that not only the players and Nick Saban have had on their mind for a while, it's a game that all the fans, the 110,000 of them that are going to be in attendance on Saturday, also have only thought about this game for the last year. They're going to be very loud. It's going to be a crazy
I think it's
atmosphere
like
down
80.
there.
It's like 90,000 there. Alabama doesn't.
90,000? I don't know.
90,000.
It's a
I
lot.
think
Regardless.
Tennessee is like 110, but
yes. Either way, it's going to be, it's going to be a stressful atmosphere for the Tennessee Vols out there on the field on Saturday.
And I mean, Alabama defense, Alabama's offense, they haven't really, played too well this year. They're averaging 30 points a game. They're 58th in the country, but their defense is only giving up 16 points a game. They're 12th in the country. And they've been tested, right? They've played some tough games this year.
They have.
Tennessee's offense, they're averaging 33 points a game. Their defense is giving up 17. So Tennessee's defense has improved
significantly from last year.
Yeah, but I think their offense has dropped off like significantly, right?
Yes,
there's no Hooker, there's no Hyatt.
Right.
It's just a tough they've had trouble scoring this year, and I think it's not going to be I think Joe Milton may struggle.
I think so too, man. It's kind of the same tale on both sides of the ball here. Both teams had NFL, level quarterbacks last year, both draft picks. This year, both of those quarterbacks are not NFL draft picks if they go out this year. Well, high ones at least. And it's a totally different feel for this game. It's definitely not going to be 52-49 like it was last year. I don't think there's any way it's that high. Now the total's set at 49. That's too low for me to really, get involved with, but it's going to be a very interesting game to watch, no doubt.
Yeah. I mean, the total, look, if the thing is, if Bama gets up, say 24-7, they're just going to pound the ball, right? They're not really going to risk it, so they can run the clock out fast, as we've been seeing happen in some of these games in the second half, like they did against Arkansas.
Right.
Just milk the clock. So the total.
And if there's no threat of Tennessee scoring against them, that's all they're going to do. And I think that's probably going to be how this one plays out.
Exactly. So I would lean towards Bama minus 9.5 here, but the total is just a pass for me right now.
Right there with you. Moving on, number 7, Penn State, heading up to number 3, Ohio State. Ohio State's 4.5-point favorites. Total set at 46.5. What you think?
Penn State, I mean, they've looked good this year, pretty much blowing the doors off everyone they've faced, but they haven't faced, one decent team so far, right? Iowa's the best team they played, and this is an Iowa team that was struggling to score a touchdown, right? Iowa's struggling all year. Somehow they're 7-1, I think, and they've just looked like trash. I don't think Iowa's good at all. I just think they haven't really played anybody. In Penn State, like I said, they've looked great, but they haven't really played anybody. I think they're 7-0 covering spreads this year, so they're doing the job. They have the fifth ranked scoring offense, the second ranked scoring defense, and they're going to an Ohio State team. They're playing at Ohio State. It's going to be loud there in Columbus. Ohio State, while their offense hasn't looked great this year, I think they've started to play a lot better the past few weeks. They've gotten some solid quarterback play, and obviously Marvin Harrison Jr. has been playing well. And I think Ohio State's going to have everybody back this weekend, like Travion Henderson, a bunch of guys back this weekend. So Ohio State's defense is 3rd in the country. They give up less than 10 points a game, and I just think that Ohio State, they've been tested this year, right? They played at Notre Dame, tough environment. They won that game, right? They beat a good Maryland team at home. I think Maryland's playing pretty well this year. So
love the Terps this year.
I like Ohio State's wins a lot more than Penn State's so far. And I'm just really not ready to back James Franklin in a big road game at Ohio State. So I would definitely lean Ohio State here. But the better play to me is the over, because it's 46. It's so low. Ohio State on a good day could score 46 by themselves, right? So I think both offenses have some success in this game, and I do think Ohio State wins it.
Yeah, I like that. I like that overplay as well. The 46.5, it's just so low for an Ohio State game. And Penn State, with the offense that they've had so far this year, the performance they've had, 46.5. I'm sure I'll be looking through the clips later and they'll be saying it went under, but good Lord, this is a spot, right?
I could see it like a 31-17, a game.
Literally thinking 31-18 in my head.
But yeah, I'm just not. It's tough to back James Franklin in a big road game like this. So he has to prove that he can win them first, right?
Right. For years
So
he hasn't. So
it's
we'll
it's,
we'll see
it's
how
tough
that
to
winds up
fade
going.
Ohio State in this spot for sure because I think Ohio State's been getting better by the week, and they've been playing people. They've been testing themselves, and Ohio State's they've faced adversity this year, right? Coming back against Notre Dame, winning on a
Right.
literally a last second touchdown. They came back against Maryland in the second half. They were down double digits. They came back to win that game. So they faced adversity, whereas Penn State's pretty much just cruised through the entire season playing nobody,
I mean,
facing
Iowa
no
being
adversity.
the only adversity that they face is not that's not very adverse,
Exactly. So I think Ohio State right now. I think they're prepared much better than Penn State is heading into this game, just based on who they've played.
Right. Just off resume and whatnot. I like that. I like that as well. I mean, and the total 46.5. Love it. Moving on. Number 16, Duke Blue Devils going down to Florida State. Number 4. They're 14. Florida State is 14-point favorites, and the total is set at 49. Florida State's been playing great. They've been soaring over their point total almost every week. Duke, is their quarterback out? He's out, right?
Yeah, he was out last week. He was out. He got injured in the Notre Dame game on the
Yes.
final drive. He the final play actually. He just got
last play.
absolutely obliterated. He had a severe ankle sprain. They had a bye week after that, and then last week he missed last week's game, and the backup kid started. And all I know is if Riley Leonard doesn't play this game for Duke, it's going to be a not very pretty for the Blue Devils. So
Yeah.
It's come down to, does Riley Leonard play or does he not? Right? I don't really think if Riley Leonard plays, like, an ankle is one of those things where, like, you just can't give your ankle 2-3 weeks to heal, right? Like, it's gonna hurt still. Like, there's nothing you can do. It's not miraculously gonna feel better. It's still gonna hurt once you get hit. Once a guy twists your ankle, because those guys are twisting your ankle at the bottom of the pile, stuff like that. Once your ankle starts getting activated, it's gonna start hurting. So I don't think it's a question of I just don't see unless he was 100%. I don't really give Duke really a chance in this game, right? And if he's not 100%, I don't think FSU will have any problem. It's just that which FSU is going to show up, right? Are they going to
hang 35, or is it going to be Boston College?
I think it helps FSU that Duke beat Clemson, so FSU knows that Duke is serious. But if the backup quarterback plays for Duke, forget it. I mean, they're going to lose by at least 3 touchdowns. But if Riley Leonard starts, I could see Duke covering, losing by 10 or something. But I just can't.
If he's not, that 14 looks a little too small. If he's not playing,
if he's not 100%, I just don't see them giving FSU a test at all, to be honest. So.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you, man. I mean, Duke is one of those teams that's so reliant on quarterback play. Almost every college football team.
I think the kid threw for 30 yards last week, against NC State. So
that's swarming NC State defense.
Yeah, exactly. So they're in trouble if Riley Leonard's out. Duke is in trouble.
Couldn't agree more. Moving on, number 14, Utah. The Utes going over to USC. Number 18, USC 6.5-point favorites. Total set at 56. I mean, we're coming off USC getting absolutely, exposed. I mean, that defense is Swiss cheese, and especially in the second half against Notre Dame, they looked horrible. Caleb Williams, future partial owner of an NFL team, if his camp has it his way, which is that's a topic for another day because that's ridiculous. But he looked horrible. I mean, he's coming off his worst performance of his career. What do you think?
Yeah, he was pretty bad. I mean, 3 picks in the first half. I mean, USC was pretty much out of it in the first half, right? Notre Dame, USC punted to start the game. Notre Dame drove right down and scored. And Notre Dame just dominated the entire game. I mean, just destroyed them. The score, it was a little closer than the score was because Notre Dame scored 2 late touchdowns, which gave us our parlay win, actually. But
thank the Lord.
Look, Utah, I mean, Cam Rising, I think we're at this point where I don't think we're going to see Cam Rising play all year. They started the kid last week who started the year against the Gators. So that, they scored some points last week at home.
Finally.
Yeah, their offense looked better last week against Cal. It's a tough, the line at 6.5 is tough because Utah does have the 12th ranked defense in the country, right? But their offense has been bad. But like I said, they started the kid from the opener last week, and the offense looked pretty good. And USC, like, where is their head at right now, right? Like USC, pretty much in that loss to Notre Dame, they're going to be out of the playoffs, right? Like that one loss, they're going to be out of the playoffs because they just got embarrassed on national TV. Their defense actually played well. I think Notre Dame had under 300 yards of offense, but their offense was so bad. Caleb Williams was so bad. I mean, he opened the game as the favorite to win the Heisman Trophy. He closed at 50-1 in some spots. So
Insane.
that's how bad he was. I mean, they do have the second-ranked offense in the country, 47 points a game, but their defense is 98th in the country, giving up 30 a game. So Utah, they're coming off playing a solid Cal defense last week and putting up some numbers. And I think I would like it more if it was 7, but I really think this is a week where Utah can, even though they've had their offensive struggles, I think their defense is playing so well that, like I said, where is USC's head at, right? Where is Caleb Williams? Where is he at, right? Like I saw a press conference from earlier this week where he was standing right next to Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley was giving his speech, and they were just like videoing Caleb Williams to stand there, and he was just like looking up, like he's heard the same speech like a million times, like he wasn't paying any attention. So like, where is his head at right now? Like
right.
He knows his Heisman's gone, right? He knows he's not going back to back in the Heisman. He knows national championship chance is gone. And even if it wasn't, I mean, he knows the defense sucks so bad.
Right. That even if they got there, I mean, it would be just.
But even their offense was so terrible against Notre Dame. So that they're far from a national champion contender. I don't know where their head is at right now. So I would definitely lean Utah in this spot, especially if you got the 7. So
yeah, if it gets up to 7, I like that Utah side a lot. Moving on, number 13, Ole Miss, 6.5 favorites versus Auburn. Total set at 56.5. This game opened at 2.5, so a lot of line movement here. What do you think?
It is, and it's tough. Always going to Auburn is a tough,
very
tough game. But Auburn, I just like. They can't score, right? They're 76th in scoring offense. They're 53rd in defense. They played well against Georgia, but that's it, right?
Right.
So Ole Miss has been playing. They've been playing well, and Lane Kiffin, I think, much better coach. They've got the better quarterback with that Dart kid.
And Auburn's playing Robbie Ashford this weekend, I believe, instead of the Michigan State transfer.
Yeah, I mean, Ole Miss averaging 42 points a game. They're 8th in the country. Their defense is giving up 23 a game at 59th. They give up the same points as Auburn, but Auburn just cannot score on offense. So maybe this kid Ashford will bring him.
He cut him apart last year. Ashford did. So
he runs the ball. I mean, he gets loose. He runs the ball. He did that against Georgia. So I mean, can he get loose? Does he have the experience to? But the thing is, I don't like. It's hard to lay 7 on the road, right? Like at Auburn, like it's a tough place to win.
Yeah,
they could roll out they could roll out me for quarterback, right? And they're still. It's a rivalry game. The defense probably played better than usual because it's a rivalry game, SEC game. I just don't see obviously Ole Miss is much more talented offensively, and I think they're better coached. So Ole Miss should win this game by at least 10, but. If Auburn hung with them, hung tough, and it was a one possession game at the end, I wouldn't be shocked. But I would definitely lean towards Ole Miss in this one.
Yeah, I think it's going to be another, run of the mill tough SEC game, and that's what we're fans of it for. Or I'm a fan of it for. So it's going to be a good game nonetheless. That's all I got for college. Any other games you want to touch on?
And that's it for college. But I just wanted to tell you guys, we have this bad beat line, and. Kiefer came up with it, last week. We got a number. He's got the number. I posted it on Twitter, but, we got a couple calls last week. And the first caller ever was just a, total gem. It was almost
absolute
like it was
all-time
fake.
Voicemail.
It was almost like it was fake. It was so good. So, we want you guys, we really encourage you guys to call, right? If you're pissed, call. If I could have called the line after the Bills game on Sunday night, I would have done it because, the NFL product on Sunday was just so trash, so many penalties, so many field goals. So if there's something that you hate about the leagues or the college or NFL and you want to speak out about it, or like in the guy from Tennessee's mind, Mac Jones. He hates
He's
Mac
singling out a
Jones.
player, and he really does hate him.
So if you want to single out a player, call up and, tell us how you feel about them, because it's very funny and, people love it online. So
yeah, I got a great reaction on Twitter yesterday. If you haven't seen that clip, we're going to play it right now.
This is Patty in Tennessee. And I just want to know what in the goddamn hell Mac Jones is thinking. I mean, I know that that's an incredibly difficult position to play in the National Football League, but goddamn, dude. I mean, do you need to be congressionally investigated? I mean, of all the goddamn things that you do in that situation, you take a fucking sack are you fucking dumb or stupid? I mean, you got fucking Ramondre Stevenson there to check down your goddamn tight ends, rumbling, bumbling, fucking stumbling. He's on the fucking hell, just throw it to him. I mean, what in the goddamn hell? Bill Belichick, man, just let it go, dude. Let it go, man. I mean, you were on that last fucking drive. Goddamn, took 15 minutes off the game clock. You didn't give a fuck. Down 2 scores, 3 scores. Hey, you didn't give a shit. And your quarterback doesn't give a shit either. I mean, that fucking ruined. I mean, I fucking threw the remote through the window, hit my goddamn neighbor in the head. Got a broken window, a broken spirit, and you got a fucking broken quarterback piece of shit. God damn. And I'm the idiot. I'm the fucking one who on the fucking Patriots. What the fuck did I expect? I mean, you got nincompoop Josh McDaniels versus a fucking tanking Bill Belichick congressional investigation goddamn shit. I tell you what. Fucking safety in the end, but all the I'd rather throw a goddamn pick six. You piece of shit. You're horrible.
Just an all-timer of a voicemail. I mean, that guy, he was not in a good mood at all talking about Mac Jones. But if you want to send us a voicemail in, 970-787-BEAT. That's 970-787-2328. If you got a bad beat, if you got a, just a qual or something you're mad about, pissed off, give us a voicemail, man. We'd love to play it on the show. And, we'll chat it up, especially this Patty guy, man, he was not happy.
I think it might have been Hank Hill from King of the Hill.
Hey, it sounded a lot like him. But all time.
God damn it, Bobby. Mac Jones, motherfucker. God damn it, Mac Jones. What the fuck?
It was unbelievable.
We had to bleep it out, and the unedited one was very funny.
Yeah,
my wife was dying. She thought it was just fake,
but because it sounds it. Patty, we appreciate you, buddy. Call in again and give us your bad beat this next week. Moving on to the NFL, we got this Thursday, Jaguars and Saints. Saints -1, total set at 40. What's your thoughts?
Well, we're just waiting to hear. I know Trevor Lawrence got banged up this past week, and he did practice on Tuesday, so we're waiting to. And usually, if you practice Tuesday, you're going to play,
right?
But we're just waiting to hear if he's going to play or not. So if he plays, I think this line will come down in the Jags' favor. But if he doesn't play, it's tough to. It's tough to back the Jags, but if Trevor Lawrence plays, I think it's a no doubt. I take the Jags because
I think so too.
Derek Carr, David Carr, Derek Carr, and they just sucks. I mean, the total bum. They had so many chances last week to win that game. He couldn't get it done. I just think the guy is I don't know. He's just a losing quarterback, right? He might be a nice guy, but he's just a losing quarterback. And the Saints, just all downhill from here for them. So
very lackluster Saints team.
If the Jags are starting to play better week to week, they're coming off probably their best game of the year. Just destroying the Colts. So I think if Lawrence plays, I think the Jags roll them. But obviously, if he's injured, they'll be in a little bit of trouble. Yep.
Yeah, I agree. Trevor Lawrence is a huge part of that. Moving on. Number what? The Lions going over to the Ravens. Ravens 3-point favorites. Total set at 42. This Lions team, they're scoring points. The Ravens, they're a little meh for me. I think Lamar's a great quarterback. I don't know what the deal really is over there in Baltimore, but something's not clicking. However, what do you think?
Look, the Lions, they've been, they're 5-1 on the year, right? They've been playing great. David Montgomery's been playing great, but he's injured, right? He's going to be out for a few weeks. Not sure if Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be back this week. So, Jared Goff's been playing well. The receivers have been playing well. The tight ends have been playing well. Their defense has been playing well. They played great at Tampa Bay, getting a big win there. But, the Ravens coming back from London, the Ravens, it's just been all Lamar Jackson, right? He's got no help at running back, no help at receiver. They got Zay Flowers. Odell Beckham might be good for 1-2 catches a game. But it's just tough to back the Ravens because they just haven't really shown anything, right? Their best players, their the quarterback and their kicker, right? Like they have no explosive playmakers on offense besides Lamar Jackson. So that game against the Titans was miserable to watch. I mean, because it was just so poorly played. They were terrible in the red zone. I think they were 1 for 5 in the red zone for touchdowns. So it was just a terrible performance. But the Lions are coming off of a high, and I think the Lions are the better team, obviously. But it's always tough to go into Baltimore and win.
Right.
But we did see the Colts go in there and win this year. So I think this one just depends on the Lions' health, right? Like, are they healthy rolling in there? If the Lions are healthy, I'll probably gladly take the 3 points. But if they're not, this game's a tough game, but I would definitely probably lean towards the Lions +3 at this point.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I'm big on the Lions this year. Last year as well. Their offense last year was a team total over machine. They're just constant disrespect from the numbers. But this year, I mean, 5-1, like you said, they look great. Both sides of the ball. Old MCDC up there, he looks great. I like.
And I love Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell really.
Motor City Dan Campbell, baby.
Dolphins interim head coach Dan Campbell. I just like the guy. I think he's a good coach.
Football guy, dude.
I think the players just like playing for him. He pumps them up and stuff. He practices with them and stuff. So I think I love Dan Campbell. I love what he's doing. Obviously, this Detroit team's headed in the right direction,
which we haven't been able to say for 15 years.
We haven't, and I'll gladly take him +3. So.
Yeah, like that a lot. Moving on, Chargers going to Arrowhead, taking on the Chiefs. Chiefs are 5.5 point favorites. Total set at 48. What you think?
Look, this game's always close.
Oh, it's always so good.
It doesn't matter how bad Brandon Staley sucks. I mean, this game is always close, right? And the Chiefs, they haven't really showed me. I mean, look, the Chiefs are 5-1. We've got a double max play on them over 11.5 wins, which should win. Pretty easily. But I just, the Chiefs haven't played very well at all this year, right? To start, they looked the best against the Bears, but let's face it, everyone's looked best against the Bears defense, right?
Right.
And I just don't see the explosiveness that I've seen in the past, from this Kansas City, offense. I don't see any playmakers at, receiver. They have good receivers, but they don't really have. There's no Tyreek Hill, right? There's no McCole Hardman. There's Rashee Rice. I mean, who's good, but he's like a rookie, right? He's a small guy.
You think they're missing Bieniemy a little bit?
I don't really.
I
don't think so. I think Andy Reid's always been really in charge of the play calling. So, of course they've got Mahomes. So, do I see the Chiefs losing this game? Probably not, right? As long as they're healthy, as long as Kelsey is healthy and stuff, I don't see them having any trouble. But the Chargers are definitely capable of winning. If the Chargers play well, if Justin Herbert plays well, if they have no turnovers, if they're healthy.
And no coaching blunders.
Exactly. If they go for it on 4th and 1 from their own 30 and they make it, right, and they have a bunch of string of plays like that, they can easily win this game outright. And they're due, right? The Chargers are due for a good performance, right? Usually they drop bombs and they play terribly for a few games, but then usually they look great. So the Chargers are due. They're 2-3, right? Are they 2-4? Well, this is week 6. What week is this now? 6, I think.
They should be 2.
That's week 7.
Yes.
What
The
are they,
Chargers are 2-3.
So they had a bye week. I just, they're due for a win, but they're tough to back. I mean, and like I said, it's tough to back the Chiefs, right? Like,
Right. Took to back anybody against the Chiefs.
Chiefs money line, sure, but giving a 5.5.
No. If
the Chargers are healthy, I might take the 5.5 here. The Chiefs defense is a lot better. That's why they're 5-1, but their offense has, this has been probably the worst looking offense I've seen so far with Mahomes.
I agree.
The explosiveness is just not there for me, and
it's not scary like it was.
They're making some questionable decisions. Like, it's windy last week. They have Mahomes throw the ball 40 times, and they have Pacheco that they don't really hand him the ball off many times, right? And he's been playing well. So
yeah,
I just think their receivers are brought down by Tony. I don't think his attitude is very well. Like, he just looks like he's pissed on the sidelines, like he doesn't touch the ball enough.
Well, he didn't catch the ball enough, but that's his own fault.
And I just don't say like Gray at tight end. I mean, he's not really a threat, right? Kelsey, obviously Kelsey's one of the best tight ends in the NFL, but his ankle is injured right now.
He's not playing up to 100%.
His knee, I mean, I'd say Kelsey's probably 70% right now, right? And he's just gotten through it because he knows if he doesn't play, the offense is much worse. So I definitely think there's a spot where the Chargers could cover. But if the Chargers got blown out, would I be surprised? No, because you expect. It's like when you're you always expect the worst from the Chargers, right? Like you just know they're gonna, do Charger kind of things. So I wouldn't be, shocked if they got just destroyed. But they're definitely capable of winning this game if they play well.
Yeah, and it's definitely capable, just like it is every other time they play in the regular season or playoffs. Could be game of the year. You never know. Yeah. You just never know.
It could be, 49-45, or it could be 17-14, right?
And a total snooze fest. Yeah,
exactly.
There's no telling. That being said, though, I do not really like that total of 48. It seems a little up there for me. Moving on, Dolphins going over to Philly, facing the Eagles. Eagles are 2-point favorites. Total set at 52. I don't know what to think about this game. I mean, the Dolphins have looked great. The Eagles have looked great. Both offenses are clicking. What do you think?
I think, this is the first time we're going to see Tua versus Jalen Hurts in the pros.
The Bama boys.
I just think the Dolphins to me, and McDaniels, not Josh McDaniels, but Mike McDaniels. His quarterback, his play is so well. Like his play calls are like so next level. Like the motions and stuff he runs, like it doesn't matter what the defense calls. Like Tyreek Hill is always going to be open because there's nothing you can do. When you put Tyreek Hill in motion, nobody's going to stay with him. When you put Raheem Mostert in motion, no one can stay with them because these are two of the fastest players in the NFL.
Right.
And I think he just does like this crazy next level stuff. He had a swing pass where he got an offensive lineman out last week to block for Mostert on a swing pass, which I've never even. I was talking to a couple former NFL player. He had never even seen anything like that, right? So I think his coaching is just so elite, and Dolphins are rolling right now. I think the Dolphins are playing, if you include last weekend with how the 49ers looked, I think the Dolphins are playing just as well as anybody in the NFL.
Yeah.
Bar none, right? And if the Dolphins get home field advantage in the playoffs for the AFC, they can go to the Super Bowl. If they have home field advantage, best record in the NFL. If they don't have to go to Buffalo or KC, if they can play at home, I think the Dolphins can easily go to the Super Bowl. I really do. I think the Dolphins are a serious threat this year, and they've played great every week except for the second half of the Buffalo game. They kind of fell apart. But even last week, down 14-0, like it's nothing. They come back easily, take the lead by halftime.
Very quickly.
Easily cover. And, their offense is so good that the backups come in. Mike White comes in. They just easy touchdown drive right down. So I think the Dolphins are very deep. Their play calling is so elite on offense. And Philly's coming off a loss, to the Jets, and their offense. Jalen Hurts, he's got more interceptions this year than he had last year, and we've only played 6 games this year, right?
Crazy.
So, maybe some doubt starts to creep into the Eagles' heads and stuff. I know it's going to be a tough atmosphere in Philly at night.
No doubt.
But I think the Dolphins, I think they're ready for it. I mean, you know, when you go play at Buffalo, right? Like, you know, really, I mean, Buffalo, you're not going to have a tougher environment to play than in the NFL than Buffalo, right? Their
Maybe
fans
Kansas
are
City. I don't know what else.
so. I do think you know, I like the Dolphins in this spot, but even more, I like the over 52. I
Yeah.
think you know the Dolphins are going to give up points, right? The Dolphins, if they get the ball first, they're going to go down and score, and then they might give up a touchdown, right? Just a shootout back and forth until one team makes a mistake, right? That's how they played the Buffalo game. It was a shootout back and forth, 14-14, until one team made a mistake, right? So I think it'll be kind of like that. But I do think the Dolphins' offense is much more explosive than Philly. The Dolphins have a better coach. I do like the Eagles, but
Not
no,
more
I
than
think
the
I think
Dolphins.
I think Hurts has been playing a little down this year, right? He hasn't really had any success, you know, like he just hasn't looked as good this year, like throwing the ball. That happens a lot with running quarterbacks, right? Like,
Right.
you know, the longer they play, the more defenses can figure them out, right? So our defense is figuring out Jalen Hurts. I mean, did the Jets defense show the Dolphins defense something last week that the Dolphins can use for this week? Because a lot of those interceptions were bad interceptions, right? And they got Lane Johnson. He's injured.
Right.
They'll be missing him. You know, their anchor for their offensive line. So I think, like I said, this game just comes down to health. I think the Dolphins are healthier than the Eagles, but it's a tough environment to play in. So I would probably just take the total at this point. But as a fan, I'd probably take the Dolphins money line as a fan because I think the Dolphins are more talented. But you know, we will see.
That's we will see. That's why they play the game, right? Tyreek Hill, by the way, I think he's like 140 yards short of 1,000 yards, and
he's got 900 and something already.
900 and something. So he's under 100 yards from 1,000 6 games in.
He's got let's pull it up. He's got
either way. Unbelievable performance, just a quarter or a third of the way through the season so far. And I don't see it.
He's got 814. So
814. So he's
on pace for like 2,600.
Saw that. Yeah. So
2,500. So I honestly think that if he stays healthy, I mean, he should beat the record because
that's the big question mark. That's the only question mark about it, in my opinion. The offense is going to keep clicking. It's just make sure he stays healthy.
He's averaging 20 yards a catch. And I mean, this is, factoring at Buffalo where he got a little dinged up at Buffalo and he only had 3 catches.
And with these motions that McDaniel's got queued up out there, man, he's getting off the line at probably 15 miles an hour.
Yeah.
There's not a single DB that can cover him.
You can't cover him because you have so much speed back there, and you have Mostert, who's the second fastest player in the NFL. You have A-Chain when he's healthy, who's probably the fastest.
He's up there.
Of them. You have Jalen Waddle, who's one of the fastest. We're not even talking about Jalen Waddle, right? And then you got like Braxton Berrios over the middle. So it's a tough. They just have so many playmakers. It's very tough. It's like the coaching is so good. I mean, he can basically draw the play to have any guy open that he wants, right? And Tyreek Hill, and we've seen Tyreek Hill burn the best of the best in the NFL. So
year over year, man.
I think, I mean, the record is definitely his to break. I mean, he's he's 1,100 something yards away from 2,000, and
he's still got 2/3 of the season left.
Yeah, he's got 11 games to go. So we'll see what happens there. But like I said, he's the best receiver in the NHL. I mean, in the NFL right now for sure. I think in my mind.
So you got your hockey jersey on. You got hockey on the mind, I guess.
I do. Yeah.
A little throwback Panthers jersey. That's fire. A little BTB chain. Golly, man, I gotta give me one of those. Hey, man, that's all I got on the run sheet for this week. We've got, per usual, a bunch of crazy games Saturday and Sunday. Football on tonight, little Wednesday night. So little Wednesday night college football. So if you're
and I'll be on I'm doing the every game on the board show with Drew Martin tomorrow, and then and that's live, so you guys can ask questions live and stuff on that. And then tomorrow night I'm doing I'll be going to the Panthers game, but after I'll be doing like this Sports Grid TV with the Gabe Morency.
That's gonna be sweet.
I think around like 11 p.m. or something like that after the NFL game. So after the NFL game, so we'll see how long I go on there for. Maybe like an hour. I'm not really sure, so we'll see how that goes. But
hey, that'll be cool. That'll be cool to tune into and get some clips from. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. So Drew Martin tomorrow, as well as Sports Grid tomorrow night after the game. And for me, I'll catch you all back here next week. Rob, you got anything else you want to dish out?
And the Live Pro-Am tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. I'll be there. So
Live Golf Miami, man. Brooks
We'll see
Koepka
who's
coming off
there.
a great week. So the Koepkas, man, one of them's coming off a great week at least.
yeah, man.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
What can you do?
What can you do? All right, fellas. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Thanks for watching. Get your voicemails in. Again, that number, 970-787-BEAT. 970-787-2328. So get your voicemails in. We'll play them on next week's episode. And we appreciate everybody watching, man. We'll see y'all later.